how does the lock affect real estate value? So a little history about the lock. So what happened in early development when Cape Coral was dredging all these canals, they got in a conflict with the federal government. And basically in 1977, they came up with a compromise that said, hey, you can have the canals, but as long as you put a lock system in. The purpose of the lock at the time was to keep the water behind the lock separate from the salt water on the outside. The houses behind the lock at the time were all on a septic well system. The idea was that pollution would be filtering through the lock system into the ocean. Brings us here today. Now all the homes behind this lock are all on city water and sewer, so we no longer have that main concern. And over the years, there's been this battle. Since I've been in Cape Coral, 25 plus years, there's been talk of this lock coming out. And it's always gotten caught in the legal system where the environmentalists stop it and the boaters bring it back. Well, Hurricane Ian put a change to all of that. Ian basically broke the lock, permanently damaged it, so they had to keep it open. So the lock's been open since 2022. It's just been very narrow and it became very dangerous. As you can see in the background, the current is ripping through here pretty fast. Well, it used to rip unbelievably fast through the lock. All this water was funneling through this little 20-foot wide channel. So I think the city officials made the right decision. They've got it out. Now I think this is going to be a much, much safer place to boat. So I'm here with Gloria Tate. Those that don't know who she is the matriarch of Cape Coral and Cape Coral real estate. And there's no doubt when you want to go to an authority or really talk to somebody who knows what they're talking about, you should talk to Gloria. And I have a few questions for her. So Gloria, some of my buyers have been asking and sellers, hey, how does the homes behind the lock, now that it's gone, how's this going to affect their home values?
Thank you for asking me. First of all, I believe it's a wonderful thing. I was on council in 1996 through this whole process when we were basically chastised for not having sewer in this area. So the home buyers down in this area have suffered through this lock for many, many years. And it's only going to improve their value, not only of their land. Currently, there are 14 lots for sale in this area because most of it is built up, but the value of their resale has just increased dramatically. Most buyers, when they're looking for boat access and they believe that the quickest thing for them is 15 minutes or less, and you can't get through this lock in 15 minutes. So it's been a hindrance for resales.
So the issue with the lock at the time was if you were a boater, and let's say you came back here on a Sunday afternoon coming back home, there could be 40 or 50 boats lined up to go through this lock. And this lock could only take maybe 3 boats at a time, maybe one 65-foot boat. So you really had a long wait. It could be anywhere from 15 to 20 minutes to an hour plus just to get through this lock system. So it was really a hindrance on time was the biggest issue. If you were a buyer, there's no doubt, and you had the money to go across the street and you had the same property on this side of the lock, you were definitely buying a house on the other side because you didn't have to deal with this. But now that's no longer the case, as you can see, and boats are flowing through just fine.
Well, 17 years ago, I sold a home to people behind the lock, and I promised him at that point that the lock was coming out. And every year I would send him an update, and he would just kind of grin and say, well, you promised that, but I don't see it happening. Well, today, while I was sitting under the tent in the ceremony, I sent him a picture and said, promise is kept. It only took me 17 years to get that accomplished.
So getting back to the core question, is the removal of the lock going to improve property values? The answer is yes, but I don't see a dramatic increase really in price. We've known about the lock coming out for at least the last year. It's now been done. There's just not enough demand to push the prices. But what I do see is properties selling faster. Now they're more on equal foot with the Hermitage and Tarpon and some of the other communities which were right next door that never had to contend with the issue of the lock. I think there'll be some changes, but not dramatic.